What's up, guys? I'm just in the Singapore airport, and I'm going to show you guys around because we've got a bit of a about 7-hour layover here. But first, we're actually heading on a tour of Singapore. So if you have a long enough transfer, I think it has to be just over 7.5 hours, something like that, then you're allowed to take a free tour of Singapore. And so we just made the cutoff, actually. We arrived at about 5 minutes ago, and we're actually 15 minutes late for when you're supposed to register. You need to be 90 minutes before the tour starts. Once you're 75 minutes prior, they'll start to give away your reservations if there's people waiting. So you want to book ahead of time. You can do it online. I'll post the links down below the video, so you can book in advance. You also need to make sure that you fill out your arrival card for Singapore. You need to have your outgoing flight information handy. And I think that's about it. They will ask for those at the booth, so make sure that you have those. There's 2 booths, so once you arrive, if you're coming in from international flights, you'll arrive in like Terminal C or D or E, that kind of area. If you arrive in Terminal D side of the airport, you want to go to Terminal F to check in for your tour. If you arrive at Terminal C side of the airport, you can go to Terminal A to check in for the tour. There's 2 booths. So we are at Terminal F here. It's right by F50. And it's just a little tiny booth here. And I'll show you guys what it looks like. There are different tours, different times. So you need to look into that, but I will post the link below. So yeah, and it's about a 2 or 2.5 hour tour, so it's kind of nice. So we're going to go do that first because we just arrived, and this is the last one for the day. And then when we get back, we still have several hours layover, so we'll go and explore the airport a little bit. This is supposed to be a pretty interesting airport, so let's see what this is all about. So there's actually a tour guide that comes and meets you here. He's wearing a microphone with a speaker on it, so he can announce to everybody. And you have to actually clear customs with him, so we're playing follow along here.
Please hold on to the handrails.
Transfers between the airport are done by train, I guess, and it's a pretty tight squeeze. Sardines. So the tour that we're doing is the city tour, and we're actually going straight to the city center. But first we're going to go and clear customs. So he made a note that you're only allowed during a transit to exit the airport once. So if you had already left, you wouldn't be allowed to leave again for this tour. So when you come to do this tour, just make sure that you don't go through customs and just go straight to the sign-up booth that I showed you earlier. So now we're just heading downstairs. Elevator's packed. There's a good chance I won't be able to videotape this immigration customs check here, but I'll do as much as I can. So indeed, I was told to put the camera away going through there, but basically there's an automated checker, as there is with many airports. So you just scan your passport, and then go to the next step. It'll ask you to do a fingerprint, and it'll take your photo as well. So depending on which country you are, many people are not being allowed to do the self-check, so they have to go to the manual lineup, and I think there's a bit of a wait there. So but I made it through really quick with the Canadian passport. Good for something, right? Anyways, I'm gonna wait now for the rest of the tour group and see what the next step is. So that was actually not customs clearance, that was just passport control. So now we are going to go through, I guess it's the same at every airport, you go through a final check. Sometimes they might ask to see your stuff, otherwise you just keep walking through. So
how can it be yours? No. If you want money, you can share, but
So there is actually a tour bus here that takes you into the city, so kind of nice. As soon as the bus takes off, the guide begins sharing information about Singapore, the land, economy, demographics, living conditions, notable architecture, and more. The landscape is beautiful and full of luscious green foliage mixed in between a very modern metropolitan cityscape. The architecture is impressive and the streets are vibrant and clean. So a lot of this tour is done in the bus, but there is going to be, I think, 2 or 3 stops, we're told. So this is the first stop here. Sorry about the video quality. It's difficult. The windows are a bit misted. It's been raining here all day. And there's reflections from lighting and stuff like that in the windows. So showing what I can. And anyways, we have about half an hour here. I think we're going to do a bit of a walk and look around. So far it's been pretty cool to see. Like a lot of the land here, they call it reclaimed land. I think they actually build the land up themselves from nothing. So where it used to be water, there's now land, if I'm not mistaken. It's so far just areas full of high-rise buildings where most people live, some older European buildings, and some pretty crazy shopping mall type areas, stuff like that. It looks like a really sort of wealthy country so far. And we're off. From what he told us during the drive, there's 3 types of accommodations here. If you have a home, like an actual house with land, you're just extremely rich. Most people live in government-funded condo or apartment type buildings, and then some people who I would consider still wealthy are able to buy their own condos as well. So, and you can see a difference in the quality as well. The public housing is quite a bit more basic and worn down than the privately owned condos, which actually look quite luxurious when you're driving by. Every time I travel to a new country, I shouldn't say every time, but many times, it just reminds me of how bad the architecture is in Canada. Like, we have nothing special compared to, you know, what I'm seeing here in Singapore or what I saw in Europe, you know, Italy. Like, you look around on certain buildings, and even in Bali, and they spend so much time just on little tiny details on buildings, or, you know, big stone carvings and different pillars and stuff like that. And in Canada, we just slap things together as quick as possible, charge millions of dollars for it, and that's it. There's nothing special, really. There's a crazy building here that looks like there's a boat on the roof, like a cruise ship. Personally, I'm not a big fan of cities, big concrete jungles, but this place looks pretty crazy. I think I could explore around here a little bit. I'm sure it's mostly just shopping and places to eat and stuff like that, but the architecture and the buildings are pretty neat. So the second stop is Gardens by the Bay, which is like just a huge garden area, and it's more than just a garden from what I can see. This is built on reclaimed land. These big towers behind me have plants that grow vertically up them. Something I didn't quite fully understand also creates electricity, some photovoltaic action of some sort creates electricity. So all of these lights on behind me are being powered by that, and there's a battery bank to store the power as well for other things. And then in the top you can see it's like a big bowl shape. All of these actually collect water when it's raining, and they fill these eco lakes that they've made in order to store water for future use. Everything I'm hearing is just incredible. There's a dome over here where they've recreated the same kind of atmosphere that you would find on the top of like a 2,000 foot mountain, for example. So anyways, there's obviously more than what I'll be able to see all in one evening. In fact, in just like 45 minutes, because we have to leave here soon. But I do think we're going to hear some music or something, so let's see what else this place has here. I have never seen a greener city. Like the medians in the center of the roads, the sides of the roads, just everything. It's just, I mean, obviously we're in a tropical area, but it's just incredible to see that they've incorporated such a vast amount of greenery in every part of the city. So I guess they have music here in the park at different times of the days, I guess. I think it's a ticketed event though, we're told. I didn't fully understand. Sometimes he's allowed to bring people straight down, but not today. So we are at like a little bit of a viewpoint. I can't exactly see where the music's going to be happening, but looks like there's some games below, some carnival games, some crowds, people hanging out. There's a really good view of that hotel with the big like ship-looking thing on top of it. I think it's called Marina Bay. Anyways, it's a very cool place. The tour guide said that there's more than 2,000 rooms inside, something like that. So, very popular hotel. My wife's telling me that there's a swimming pool on the roof that is pretty spectacular. So, if we came here to stay, this is where we would try to go, I guess. But nice looking place. So I've stepped away for a minute from the tour group. Doesn't look like we're going to have the best view of any sort of show there. So having a look at the other areas around. We were hoping to get into the, I think it's called the Cloud Canopy. But you have to buy tickets to get in. So that's the building I was talking about, where they try to mimic the weather on the top of a 2,000 foot mountain. So from the outside I can see that they have a pretty crazy waterfall in there. There's a lot of cool wood carvings around the lobby area here as well, and stone actually. Sorry, it's called the Cloud Forest. Anyways, not much to see here without time and tickets, so gonna head back over to see if we can spot some of that show. I'm really thirsty. I'd like to get a drink, but I saw in one of the shops that water was like $6, and I'm not sure what the conversion is here, so a little bit turned off by that. Might wait till I get back to the airport, although it'll probably be even more expensive there, as per usual. So I couldn't understand at first what we were really looking at. There's music, which was nice, and then lights changing on those big towers. But everybody was looking at something, and then I realized in the right corner there's a little stage in the distance, and I think there's a show playing there, so can't really see exactly what's happening there. You'd have to be down there, buy a ticket and go down there to fully enjoy it, I think. But anyways, nice for a free tour. Heading back to the bus now, and back to the airport, I believe. So the free tour was very cool. Again, that's funded by Singapore Airlines and Changi Airport Group. So take note, Canadian airline companies, do better. Anyways, we have our flight's not until 1 a.m. And there's one other really cool place to check out here. It's called Jewel. It's a biodome with a lot of plants. I guess the temperature's regulated so that it can have plants from all over the world. And it is 5 stories above ground and 5 stories below ground, and full of shopping. So pretty cool area, something to check out while you're here if we have time. We have just over an hour, maybe an hour and a half, before we have to go back through security. So we're gonna go have a look, see what it's all about, maybe find something to eat.
Yeah, very hungry.
Let's go. immediate thoughts, this place is just ridiculous. There's a massive cylindrical or circular waterfall coming from the ceiling as you enter. There was a train inside and like a light show in the waterfall. Right now it's just like Apple stores, Nike, I don't know, pretty crazy. Pretty excited to have a look around. We decided to eat first because we haven't eaten in a while, and no energy to explore. So we're on the floor with the food. We saw food on multiple floors, but it says that this is the main floor for food, B2, so 2 floors underground. Look at this. This must be where the waterfall comes down. Just crazy. Just ridiculous. Immediately, like every restaurant in here is like new to me. Except I see a Dunkin' Donuts, which I think is American. Oh, and a Subway, which no thank you. But everything else is like random brands I've never heard of. Very interesting. Milk pies. I'm really hungry, so everything looks good right now. That must have been like the junk food area. I don't know. This area looks like it has more actual food, not just sweets. So the train that I saw coming through here, I think that's actually the trains that go between terminals, because I believe that this Jewel building actually connects to Terminal 1, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken. I have no idea what I'm talking about. Anyways, this place is just enormous. Supposedly there's plants from all over the world in here, and that's why they regulate the temperature between like 23 and 25 degrees or something like that, 21, 25. Again, I'm completely making up those numbers. I was told by the tour guide earlier, but I've forgotten. But I think in the daytime you'd be able to see a lot more, but there's definitely a multitude of levels of different plants in this room. Really cool place. All of the plants in here are real. Like everything that you see that looks like it should be a decoration is real. These are all little tiny pots in here full of soil. Everything's real. They're hanging everywhere. On every wall you can see. It's pretty cool. So unfortunately we spent a bit too much time trying to find something to eat, and everything is closed. Even the shops are closing now, so we are probably just going to head back over to the airport, and hopefully they have something there to eat. But first we're just going to check out the center area where this waterfall comes down on the main floor. So this thing behind me is called the Rain Vortex, the HSBC Rain Vortex. So sponsored, I guess, by HSBC. Pretty cool. Interesting sight to see in the middle of pretty much a shopping mall. And it looks like there's actually some other little waterfalls as well in here. And there seems to be a bit of a Lego, or not Lego, sorry, a Super Mario Brothers theme in here for some reason on this floor. So couldn't explore too much because everything's closed now, just the time of the night, unfortunately. So we're walking over to the airport side. It does connect to Terminal 1 here, which I think our flight is leaving from Terminal 1. So time to go back through security, and hopefully there's a place open to get some food there. But very cool airport. Coolest airport I've ever been to, hands down for sure. And I think it's been voted the best airport numerous years in a row, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the Terminal 1 departure area here. A lot of self-check-in machines, bag drops, and quite busy. And with the color of the floor in here, it makes me feel like I'm in a casino or something. So getting back in through the security was very easy, very quick. There was an initial check where a customs officer or auxiliary police officer kind of just put some red lines through a bunch of stuff on my boarding pass, maybe to let people know in the future that I've already been out or something. I have no idea. And then I came back in through another self-passport scan where they take your picture again and gates open and you come on in, and now I'm back into the terminal where my gate will be. So just going to go and find out what gate it is because we have no idea. So we're going to gate C13, but we're hungry and this place is a maze. Luckily everybody in this airport seems to speak English very well. I believe it's a common language here for everybody to learn, so we've been pointed in the right direction. So we are headed that way towards the gate, and food should be over there as well. Very fancy airport. As usual, high-end clothing, watches, big duty frees. So that's it, guys. Not much of a tour of the whole airport, but showed you a few little spots, showed you guys the city kind of tour that you can get. There is 4 tour options that you can go on. I think it depends on the time of the day and stuff like that, so you'll have to check it out. We're at the gate now, and it looks like the gate's open, so probably gonna have to start boarding. Something strange, like when we came back from the tour, we didn't go through like a security check, so I see it looks like maybe they're doing one at the gate, so I don't want to be late. So washroom, security check, off we go. Flying a low-cost Scoot Airline with no TV for 12 hours, something like that, but it's gonna be overnight, like it's already 12 something in the morning, so I'm not much of a sleeper on airplanes, but hopefully I'll be able to get a little bit of rest. And I'm off to Greece. I don't know if I said that earlier. So this is the Scoot low-cost airline. There's no TVs, no plugins for your electronics, no nothing. 13 and a half hours. It's gonna just be terrible. Hopefully I can sleep. And the plane looks like it's being held together with masking tape along the floor on the window side here. So let's hope the masking tape is strong.